And welcome to Man United TV once again. It was West Ham 2, Man United 0, and I have to be honest, even I didn't appreciate how fast the season could go tits up, and I think most of us can agree that it was down to the injuries to Pogba and Martial. That just demonstrates how pathetically thin the squad is and how lacking in quality the squad is, and that is something that most pundits have pointed out long before the season started. Going back to the summer transfer window, it's said 1,000 times the midfield is nowhere near strong enough to compete in the Premier League. We got away with it in the first game against Chelsea. It worked quite well with Pogba in there and Martial playing really well. Those two, with Maguire at the back, dominating the defensive area, we were looking a reasonably solid team, but cracks suddenly appear as soon as Pogba gets injured, and people who don't rate his presence in the team because he is inconsistent and he is a bit of a Marmite figure. Some people can't stand him, some people think he's a great player. The difference between him in the team and him not in the team, if you can't see that by now, is absolutely massive, because the players replacing him are poor quality. Look at the midfield playing at the moment. Mata, Pereira, Matic, McTominay and Fred. That's the midfield available when Pogba's injured. That isn't even a bottom half of the Premier League table midfield. That's a relegation zone midfield. Compare that, and I know we're not on the same level at the moment, but we should be on the same level. And this is where we should be looking at improving to, is Real Madrid. They've got Modric, Isco, Asensio, Cruz, Casemiro, and they've got a few other kids coming through as well. So it's astonishing how far United have fallen and how poor their squad is at the moment. You looked at the bench against West Ham, you just thought there's nobody here who can come on and turn a game. We can't even improve the team with players coming on to substitute tired players. I mean, it's desperate. Anyway, on to the player ratings. David De Gea, I didn't think he was at fault for the two goals. Both were right in the corner. He got his hands to the free kick by Cresswell, but he couldn't do much about it. I give him a 7. Everything else he saved, he couldn't do anything with the goals. Wan-Bissaka again was brilliant. He was everywhere on the pitch. At the end, you could see his frustration. He was going down the wing to create chances himself because there was nothing, absolutely nothing from Pereira and Mata and Matic, and nothing was likely to come. Nothing was ever going to come. We could have played that game for another 2 hours, and they wouldn't have created anything. I give him an 8. Wan-Bissaka, I thought he was good again. Maguire again looked pretty comfortable. Some people are saying he was at fault for the first goal. It's a bit arbitrary. I think he did okay. He was a 6 on 10. Not his best game, but he certainly wasn't poor. Lindelof again looked a little bit out of place. He was putting passes into areas where he's not capable of passing to because he's not a very good footballer. As I said, you've heard my opinions before, time and time again. He's not good enough for Manchester United. I'm not looking at the last game. I'm looking at his entire career at Manchester United. Tells me he's not good enough for the club. And others like Roy Keane would be pointing this out if they were naming names. He'd be one of the players on the list, I'm sure, who shouldn't be at the club. I give him a 5. He was reasonably passable, but certainly not good. Left back Ashley Young again, tireless work, really puts his effort in, but I've no idea why he's crossing the ball in who he's aiming at. Sometimes I don't know why he keeps over-hitting the ball. I don't know. There's a simple solution for Ashley when he keeps over-hitting the ball over everybody's heads, is don't hit the ball as hard. I mean, he is a professional footballer. He should be able to work that one out. But he's continually putting free kicks and corners over everybody's head. He just needs to put it on Harry Maguire's head. it's not that difficult. You know, amateur players and players playing in pub football can do it, but apparently Ashley Young can't. I'm going to give him a 5. I thought his defensive work, he made one mistake second half, gave the free kick away, which led to Cresswell's goal, and he was really poor going forward. So I'm going to give him a 5. Into the midfield, Matic, he was reasonably solid at times, as Matic always is. He's a good pro. He'll you know, he tries his best. He's a limited player. We knew that when we bought him, and he played quite well in the first 6-7 months he was at the club. I think he's on the decline, and I said that at the start of the season. It's time to make a decision on Matic, ship him out or keep him in to give the kids more experience. At the moment, it's certainly looking like the former was the best option. I'll give him a 5. He was ineffective. Pereira again, completely anonymous. No idea why he's selected. Really, he must be an absolute genius in training, because he doesn't seem to have anything during the game apart from some neat little touches, neat little passes, a turn on the ball here and there, but absolutely nothing. No threat to goal. No, doesn't. You know, he's supposed to have a good shot at him. We never see a shot from him because he can't get in a position to shoot because he's not good enough to work himself a position. I give him a 4. He was totally anonymous and really poor. Mata was dreadful in every aspect of the game. I know he missed a really easy chance when he was sliding in on but it was on his left foot. It was on his good foot, and he still missed. And that, to put it kindly, that was indicative of where he is as a footballer now. He's just not good enough. Nowhere near good enough. How he's been selected, I've absolutely no idea. I give him a 3 on 10. Dreadful. The other players, Rashford, I thought was moving out of the central position way too often, and when James was putting crosses into the box, he's nowhere to be seen. He just didn't play like a centre forward or a target man at all. He wanted to play like a player who ghosts in unspotted by the defenders and runs in behind the defence. That's the kind of role he seems to be wanting to play, but he's actually the centre forward. He was very poor. If you're playing that way and you're not doing your main function as centre forward, which is getting on the ball, holding the ball, bringing people into the game, getting on the end of crosses, heading them in, sliding it in, scoring goals, doing what a centre forward does. If you're not doing that, you need to be adding something else. And I don't know what else he added, so he gets a 4 on 10. He was dreadful. James again had really decent game. He was so energetic. He was up and down the ring all the time. He was coming back, winning the ball back. He was, his crosses went brilliant this game, but he was trying so hard to make something happen, and there was nobody in the middle to finish the chances off. There was nobody coming in late into the box from midfield. Matic, Mata, for most of the time, Pereira were rarely seen in the opposition box. They weren't making runs. They haven't got the penetration, the pace to get in there. So by the time young James gets the ball, runs, puts it across, they can't keep up with him. They were never anywhere near him to get in the box. And some of them should have been taking a risk. I think James is going to put in a cross here. This could be my moment. I'm going to make a run here. I'm going to make a 40-yard run, see if I can get into the box and get on the end of this. No chance of that happening. It was poor on behalf of the players, not on behalf of young James, who's given his best. He's sort of player who should be coming into the game like in Ferguson's time, when he's got Beckham and Scholes and Keane and Giggs around him, and Van Nistelrooy or Rooney or Ronaldo up front or something like that. He comes in, he's got solid people behind him and electric people in front of him, but no, he hasn't got that at the moment, which is why it's a shame, because he looks a cracking player. McTominay, I give James a 7. Oh, pretty good. Had he had good players around, he may have got an 8 because he might have finished off some of his chances. McTominay, I thought, again, he was industrious, he was hard working, he was really putting in the effort. Even in the last few minutes he was charging around the pitch trying to close people down, but at the moment, as we've said before in the previous player ratings, he just lacks a bit of class and quality on the ball. Sometimes he hasn't got that passing ability to put someone through on goal, or to play a 1-2 and make something happen. Occasionally he's good. I think he's the sort of player who may improve, like a Darren Fletcher, and he may get through this next year or two and become a really solid central midfield player. He looks like he's got some potential there to do it. He definitely needs to improve. He hasn't got it at the moment, and maybe in the next year, as the season progresses, at least we'll hopefully see an improvement from him. I certainly wouldn't count him out and ditch him just yet. I'd give him another season. The substitutes were ineffective, and you can't blame them coming into a game like that, which was an absolute shambles, a tactical disaster class from Solskjaer. It was difficult for them. Fred's not good enough to play for the club anyway. At least he looks lively when he comes on, but he's not very constructive because he can't use his right foot, so he can never go to the right. He has to always turn back and go left, which totally limits his ability to create chances, because he keeps going on, he keeps turning. When there's a pass available on his right, he turns back and goes left. He's not good enough. How we paid that much money for him, I have no idea. It was either a scam or somebody was drunk at the time when they signed him. But again, he was ineffective. I'll give him a 5. Gomez came on, didn't see much of the ball. Give him a 6, but you can't really judge him on the few minutes he's getting in an absolute catastrophic environment. He should be coming in a reasonably comfortable environment. He's obviously a decent player, Gomez. If he was a Michael Owen or a Rooney or Ronaldo, we probably would have seen a bit more by now. But I think he probably is a good player. I certainly think he's got a good career ahead of him. Whether that's at United, it's hard to say yet, but he's certainly got some talent there. Overall, a disastrous team choice from Solskjaer. The bare bones of a squad being shown to all and sundry. It's worse than some might think, because it demonstrates to all the other teams that we're going to play that we are really vulnerable and they can be much more confident when they play us. Who takes the blame for this? Is it Solskjaer? It's certainly the Woodward and the board for not bringing in a midfielder. As I said 1,000 times in the summer, and for the first preview of the first game of the season, we haven't got enough in our locker at the moment. That's why I was surprised with the 4-0, because I didn't think we had enough in midfield. But it's that we've now hit the peak. That was the peak, that 4-0, which was lucky in itself, and we're now going downhill. And the people who are not going to pull us back up are Matic, Mata, Pereira, McTominay and Fred. I'm afraid, if that bursts people's bubbles, as if I've been right about most things this season, last season and for years now. Solskjaer's got to come out and do something, because he's going to get sacked. It's as simple as that. If it's not his fault, and he's tried to sign players, and we haven't put up the money, and the fees. If the fees have been ludicrous, then fine. Come out and say we tried to sign Fernandes of Sporting Lisbon, but they said they wanted 120 million, so we're obviously not going to pay that. Say it, because people don't know what's going on. If you say you're happy with the squad, if you're happy with the worst midfield in living memory for Manchester United, then you shouldn't be in the job. So you can't be saying things like that. You have to be somewhat truthful and trustworthy to keep the fans on your side. If you're protecting the Glazers, saying, "Oh, I'm happy with the squad. Yeah, we've got kids coming through." Well, these kids have to be really good to come into an environment like that and change it. It's not like having Luke Chadwick come on for Ferguson's team full of top class all stars. This is like different. This is the kids are coming on, and they're probably better than the established players. That's how bad it is. Solskjaer has to come out and say something, or he's going to lose his job. He has to say, look, I tried to sign a few players. The board wouldn't let me. If they want to sack me now, then fine. He's got millions in the bank already, and he'll get a payoff of millions anyway. Who cares what's written into his contract? He can't say anything. Well, that's all about money then, isn't it? And you're not representing the fans and the club like you should be. You're letting the team, die because you want to get your payoff. Let's not go too far. At the moment, he's still got time to turn it round. Ollie can get Pogba back, get Martial back, get them attacking again like they were in his first few games last year, and that'll certainly get the momentum back. And I think they'll do okay once they get going. But at any time, a few injuries could collapse this team. And because we can't trust these players. We can't trust Rashford and Martial and Fellaini and Herrera and Pereira and Mata. We've known we can't trust them. So we need better players, and we'll have to think of something ingenious in January or this season. I mean, this season will probably be over by December, but let's keep our fingers crossed and not be too negative. We get Martial back, get Pogba back, and get them playing really fast, aggressive, attacking football. That's the only way Solskjaer's going to survive after Christmas, in my opinion. Unless the club are happy with the 12th place finish or something. Who knows? Anyway, hopefully better news for the next game. Maybe we'll thrash the likes of mighty Rochdale. See you soon. Can you please subscribe and click the like button? This is a new channel, just trying to get it all started now. It's Man United Fan TV. Please give us a chance to get it going and help us out. Thanks a lot. See you next time.